Blessings to you once again. Rob Harrell with Talks from the Chair. I just had an opportunity to visit a friend in the nursing home, and it was a remarkably good visit. And it got me thinking about what we consider to be valuable as Christians in the kingdom of God. I'd like to mention in the New Testament, James 1:27, which says, "Religion that is pure and undefiled before God and the Father is this, to visit orphans and widows in their affliction, and to keep oneself unstained from the world." To visit orphans and widows, and to remain pure in your own moral life. We spend a lot of time as believers in Jesus discussing things, being involved in things such as Christian activities, church events. We sit around, especially those who are more involved in the teaching ministry of things, talking about the intricacies of doctrine. We'll discuss things along the line of Calvinism and Arminianism. If you're aware of that discussion, we'll talk about things like evolution, creation, the end times, various theories on Revelation and the end times and how it's all going to wind down. We'll talk about various passages and interpretations as to the meaning of things. Of course, these things have all been discussed in detail over the centuries. We'll talk about the latest book we've read, the latest conference we've attended, the latest activity that we've been a part of in our church, what we think of the pastor, what we thought of the message, where we're going to this Sunday, what we're going to do, the strategies, the plannings, and all these kinds of things. All kinds of what we might call minutia related to church and Christian activities. And all this has its place, but it's easy to forget what really matters to some people. What matters to the person who's hurting is your presence. What matters and is immeasurably valuable to someone who's hurting and lonely is a phone call, is a visit, a card even nowadays a text, I suppose, although texting is not talking, no matter what we say. And I want to ask you a question. When's the last time you visited someone personally in the hospital? You say, well, I don't have friends that are all that sick, and most people I know are doing fairly well. Well, that's fine. But what about those that aren't doing well? What about the one that's home recovering from surgery? When's the last time you've walked into a nursing home? You say, well, that again doesn't really correspond to my life. You're a pastor and that's the kind of thing you do. Yes, it is the kind of thing I do. But is that only for pastors and people in ministry work? I had an opportunity for several years to work in a nursing home, and I've seen the ins and outs of it from an administrative and ministerial point of view. Met with all kinds of people in all kinds of conditions, some with cognitive limitations and some more alert. This much is true. Hardly anyone who lives there wants to live there. And most, if not all, you could say, deal with loneliness and the sense of abandonment. I've literally seen residents dropped off by their family, never to be seen again by their loved ones. How do you think that feels? This is not meant to put anyone on any kind of guilt trip of any sort. It's simply to ask the question, are we fulfilling our true responsibilities as Christians? Is my religion one that touches down into the very lives and situations of those we know and are aware of? Does it really matter? What does it matter if I can discuss, in other words, the intricacies of difficult theological matters and verses and portions of the Bible? Whether I understand Jesus' second coming to be coming in a certain way or not, what does that matter in the long run in terms of blessing the lives of others? Now you say, are you discarding doctrine altogether? No, I've spent my life studying and teaching the Bible, and I still study doctrine. I am in no way downplaying that. I'm simply asking the question, what matters most to those in need? Notice it says there, if you look at James 1:27, it's visiting them in their affliction. You know, they're hurting. Is there any among us who do not know hurting people? Everyone is hurting in one way or another, to one degree or another, right? When's the last time you called your family member? You know, that one that you're thinking about often. If your parents are alive, how often do you talk with them? You say, well, we haven't gotten along for years. It's difficult to talk to them. Sure, maybe extremely difficult. And you say, well, it's because of this and that, and they won't talk with me. All they do is make me feel bad about this and the other thing. Well, again, without getting into it all, are you reaching out? Are you making the effort? Are you just checking with them? As a parent and a grandparent, I can say this, and this is, again, in no way to make anyone feel bad. It's just factual, I think, as I understand it. A 2-minute call, a 5-minute call to someone who hasn't had any real contact with the important people in their lives, as you age especially, can mean the world. A 5-minute call about virtually nothing. How are you? What's going on? I'm doing this. What have you been doing? How about that? Can mean the world to someone. Even though a parent, a grandparent, a relative may not let on that they need that, let me tell you, they do. Make that call. We have mobile devices now. We are really without excuses, aren't we? As we drive down the road, and we can go hands-free, we can make that 2-minute call and just say, I love you, I'm thinking of you. How are you doing today? How did it go the other day? Presence, your concern. This love, as it's expressed this way, and sincerity, whether we feel like it or not, whether we're in the mood to do it or not, is true religion. Religion in the sense of knowing God and living out the Christian life. What are the 2 great commandments? To love God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. And from Leviticus, to love your neighbor, those around you, as yourself. So you think about it for a second and you say, wouldn't I like to hear from those that care about me, or I think care about me, or at least are related to me, or friends with me. Wouldn't I like to hear from them? Wouldn't I like to know they care? You bet. Of course. Well, then, exercise that compassion. Don't just memorize another verse, as important as that is. Don't attend another service. Don't sign up for one more event. If you're not letting your Christian faith touch down in the lives of those around you, not just hi, how are you, goodbye, but extending yourself in love to these people. And of course, little gestures. The person I brought today asked ahead of time would I bring them a McDonald's hamburger. I did. What's a McDonald's hamburger? Can I pay you for it? No, of course not. How long did it take to go through the McDonald's line? Not even 5 minutes. What is that? What is that? What is that? It's nothing, as far as I'm concerned. But it means a lot to someone who wants to enjoy the taste of something familiar. It's the little things that are the big things. That's worth repeating. It's the little things that are the big things. The hug, the call, the visit, just chatting, a cup of coffee, talk. This is true religion. And share Jesus along the way. This is living out Jesus. This is bringing the light of God into a dark place. This honors God. This pleases Him. And keep yourself unstained from this dark world, which is heartless, apathetic, self-absorbed. Don't be a self-absorbed Christian. That's a contradiction in terms, isn't it? Love, give. Because why? It's more blessed to give than to receive. Some thoughts for today. Welcome your comments. Pass it on, okay? Blessings.